Hello, I did a video about 3 weeks ago giving updates on mosque applications, mosque campaigns that I'm doing. I'd like to give some good news about one that's come in. Well, we've won it. One of those has come in and we won that. That's embarking in Dagenham. I'd also like to talk about another one that I'm trying to raise money for because I'd like to get going with it soon. I'd like to be able to jump on it. The clock ticks on these applications. But let's deal with the good news first. Okay, so this one. Hold on, that was the one. In the video I did about 3 weeks ago, you may have watched it, you might not, doesn't matter. But this is the report from 17th of March. This was quite quickly decided, this one, unusually fast. Wood Lane Dagenham Post Office could become a mosque. And basically what they said is that the mosque and community centre would operate during reasonable daytime and early evening hours with no significant increase in footfall. They always say that. No external amplification, public address systems or outdoor congregation areas proposed, according to the planning document. Heard that before. Okay, so this was the place. So if that's on Google Maps, so that is where the post office is. Now, if I zoom out a bit, there you see it in Barking and Dagenham, heavily built up area. And hold on, let me do that. So you can see it's on that sort of 6-star junction there, right there. That could be a serious parking nightmare. If they got that place and then it expanded and then there was a lot of parking there, that whole A124, that could be held to ransom with all the vehicles in front, but particularly during worship hours on a Friday. That could be quite unpleasant. And now the place itself, I won't zoom in. What I'll show you, this story, this is what I like to see. Now that's a picture of it there, that lovely old post office. You imagine, nice place, local people to go and pick up their pension, go and do a bit of shopping, buy a mop. I mean, it's a nice place. I like places like that. And Wood Lane Dagenham Mosque and Community Centre Plan decision. And what it says, I'm going to close a bit. Plans to turn a post office in Dagenham into a mosque and community centre have been deemed to have potentially unacceptable and harmful impacts. The proposal was made by the Arabia Foundation, however, planning officers from Barking and Dagenham Council refused planning permission yesterday, May 27th, so that's a few days ago. And I am happy with that. And that was dealt with by hold on, if I go to the top here, this council officer, Bethany Robbins. Bethany, you might not want praise from me, you're going to get it. Well done, you did the right thing. And you did the right thing in making your decision so clear. Now, this is, and it is a good decision. It is clear. I think it is categorical. This one's going to be is a difficult one for them to get around. They may appeal it, but I think they can't just come back with pester power saying, well, can we have it this time? So that's the application. And you can see there, well, Post Office 279 Wood Lane. It's refused. Particulars of decision. First reason is principle of development. I like that word, principle. That means don't come back to us. Don't try and talk us into it. And don't give us lots of glossy documents. It is wrong in principle. You can't redesign it. It's wrong there. This proposal would result in the loss of a retail unit within a designated neighbourhood centre, impacting the vitality and function of this parade, harmfully impacting on convenience, shopping, which meets the day-to-day needs of local residents. So it's a nice shop, local people want to use it, and that will have harmful impacts on their quality of life if they can no longer you have a nice shop there, a nice post office. Now, crime and safety. The proposed development would create conflict between users of the rear access, I think that's going to be the women, and the movement of delivery and servicing vehicles, thus posing safety risks. Absence of lighting, suitable condition and natural surveillance, etc., would result in unacceptable access, providing an unsafe and illegible access route for users. Impacts on neighbouring amenity, I like this one. The proposed development would be unacceptable with regards to noise and disturbance to the occupiers of neighbouring residential properties arising from both within the building and along the rear access due to the significant volume of worshippers coming and going simultaneously and congregating at unsocial hours. Yes, as it generally is with a mosque, whatever they say about it being early evening. Okay, and sustainable transport. They failed to demonstrate with robust evidence an accurate modal split and likely on-street parking demand arising from the development. Okay, that is a good decision. Well done. Now, this from the Planning Officer's report, I just want to talk about a little bit because it shows why I asked for this money. All right. On 13th of March, consultation letters were sent to residents from 54 neighbouring properties, and on the 25th of March, a site notice was erected. Following this, well, it might have been that, might have been other things, officers received a total of 574 public responses, of which 275 were objections and 299 were support comments. The objections were a lot better quality, much more detailed, much. They had good reasons. The supports basically said we want, give, and it got refused. But you have to work hard to get to inform, to make it easy and straightforward for ordinary people without pressure to submit their written objections to the council saying we don't want this place and this is why. And that is why I asked for all this money. 2 grand, that is not cheap. It doesn't go to me. It goes on the cost of publicising this within the borough. You don't do it outside the borough. You can't just put up a website. That's a way to guarantee that planning permission gets granted. You have to do it hard copy locally, and that costs money. And it's not easy to get up that number of objections, but you need it. And I hope this application shows how that works. It worked in this case. People came up with good reasons, and the council said, yeah, local people object to this, local people know about the area, and their objections are valid. So we are going to refuse. And they refused it. And well done, Barking Dagenham Council on this occasion. Okay, the other one I want to talk about is this one in Gosport. Give me a second. Now, this is the story in the Portsmouth, whatever is the local Portsmouth um, Echo, whatever, the news. Empty Gosport shop to become Islamic prayer centre under new plans. And a former shop could become a place of worship. And what they said is, now what I like about this this makes me salivate. They bought the building. The application said the owners purchased the property with an aim to provide a meeting hall and community facility. Always that community for a place of worship. They currently lease a unit in. So they've spent money on this. So there's all to play for. They currently lease a unit in Gosport, where Gosport Islamic Society runs weekly prayer meetings on Fridays. This means many members of the community need to travel by car. So when the opportunity came to purchase the unit to which this application relates, the society took up the option as many members live in close vicinity and most will be able to walk to the unit. Yeah, well, they always say that. Okay, and who is it? It's this organisation, basically Gosport Islamic Society. They're the people doing it, and activities. This is from the Charity Commission. The society runs weekly prayer meetings at the St Mary's Church of England Church. The Church of England they are so treacherous, disgusting. That is disgusting. All right. These prayers are attended by about 60 members, etc. Separate instruction in memorization of the Quran and in Sharia law. There you are. Sharia law, that's just an extremist little something else. Nothing to do with Islam. But you get it with this place. Okay, to 7 young people, my God. The strategic aim of the group is to raise sufficient funds to buy a building to create a mosque for gospel. That's their strategic aim. Okay. Okay, so this is the appeal I did on Give, Send, Go, Gosport application to turn a shop into a mosque. I'm asking for 2 grand. It's a lot of money, but I'd like to have it. The reason I ask for so much money is I can get the economies of scale. You can basically get um, pretty much 4 times as much for 2 grand as you can for 1 grand. And the economy of scale matters because you get more people, you make more people aware, so you get more people contacting the council, and that's what I want. Currently it's just under 1,200. I'd like to get the remainder soon because the clock is ticking on this application. The clock ticks fast on these ones. I like to get in early before the council have formed a mindset. And this also, that's the appeal I did on X, application to turn a shop into a mosque. You can find that there on my X account, Gavin Bobby. There you are. And there's a picture. It's that place there, that one there, that recessed place there. I think it's going to be a nightmare locally if that place gets turned into a mosque. But let me now, if I do that, that is the council's planning page, Gosport Council. That's the planning reference, 26 00131 /full. And proposed change of use from shop Again, remember that last one at Barking and Dagenham, that was refused because the council said we don't want to get rid of a retail unit. We don't want to get rid of a shop unit. We want to maintain shopping frontage because that's convenient for local people to go and do their shopping as it is. So to convert it to a place of worship and education centre in 351B Fulton Road, Gosport. Okay, so that's where you can find that application. Where it is just there. So if I go, I'll show you where Gosport is. It's right down there. That's the Isle of Wight down the bottom, and you go in there. It's not an island, but it's next to an island, and that's the place along that main road. I think that might be an A road. Um, but I can't remember at the moment. But that's the place there. And if I go back to that news report, does it show? Yeah, that's the frontage. That's what it looks like. I think there might be a Google Earth image there. So that 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 I think is going to be a problem. I think there's no parking proposed for that. If you go, if I look at the application form, what it says is hours of opening. Those are not relevant. So it says there are no well, but what I think they told the newspaper is it's only going to be early evening. I find that hard to believe because usually it needs to follow in the summer it'll be later in the evening, sunset. So I don't think it's going to be only early evening. And parking, does the site have any existing vehicle parking? No, it doesn't. So no parking, and it's not saying what the opening hours are going to be. Not in the application form anyway. It might say it elsewhere. I haven't found it. All right. Now, this place is something, a good reason I think to keep this area mosque free is this appears to be the first mosque proposal. If it goes through, it would be the first mosque in Gosport. And as you see, look at that. That's the area there, just next to Bedford Street, along that road there. That's Fulton Road, and that marker it says it's 0.0%. I guess that's in 2021 it was between 0 and 5%. So when they say that everyone lives like really close and within walking distance of that place, I take that with a pinch of salt. I reckon to get the congregation up, they're probably going to have a wider catchment. Okay, so what I'm going to do is repost that appeal on X for funding. And if anyone wants to go to the Give Send Go one, then that'll be great. Um, and I hope that I can then jump on this soon. We can jump on it pretty fast. It's quite an efficient operation now. I've got good people helping me. I'd like to say thank you to S and to L and to M. They know who they are. Thank you very much. And what we need to do is just to get up to the full amount. If we can get up to 2,000, it means I can do, I'd say, 4 times what I can currently do with 1,200 quid. So and I hope to be able to do that soon. If necessary, I'll just go with 1,200 quid, and it won't be such a strong campaign. But at least it'll be something to prevent them getting a free run at it, and that's important. And if all we do is go down fighting, well, that's good too. But I think we can win this one for the reasons I've said. It's a shop. People should still be able to shop. It shouldn't be dominated by a mosque, that area, and it's going to be a nightmare. The traffic along there, I think, is going to be a nightmare. So please help if you feel like it. Thanks very much.